Welcome to the weekend market review for the week ending on the 10th of February 2023. First, of course, the disclaimer. I'm not a SEBI registered analyst or an advisor. Whatever information presented in this video is purely for educational purpose and not a recommendation to buy or sell. So first, let's have a look at the Nifty and the other indices like the mid and small cap indices. Let us first look at the Nifty. We all know that the Nifty was making a lower high, lower low structure, and in the last 1 month or the last week of December, it started making more of a consolidation zone. Yes, you can see there was a support zone building up here, and we had a rejection zone here between 18,122 and 18,265, but there was indeed a support zone here. So we expected the Nifty to move more of sideways, but as we all know, the Adani saga pushed the Nifty down here. But you can see a very strong support coming here around the 200 DMA here. You can see this bar with a long tail and very high volume, and it is also a two bar reversal bar kind of bar. So the support started coming here. The next one also you can see in the long tail here, and this one else also had a long tail. All this is indicating, and the high volume does indicate the support is strong here, and the Nifty started bouncing back, and it is back into the consolidation zone between 7,760 and 18,265. So one thing is very clear is that the downside is now capped, and we expect the Nifty to move between this consolidation zone of 17,760 and 18,265 for some more time, maybe a couple of months. So in order to break above and move up, we need to cross very successfully this level of 18,265. Now let's look at the overall market volumes. Here I have the chart of the NSE 500, which of course represents a broader market, and I have the volume of the complete market, not just the Nifty or the NSE 500. It is the consolidated volume of the complete market. Then I have the buy and sell volumes for the overall market, and we have the information on the advance and decline ratio in this chart here. Now, if you look at this chart, the volumes here of the overall market is not very high, is not move very high like the Nifty volumes. And when we had the down move here, we saw some good amount of selling. But on this day, when the market started recovering, you saw heavy buying. And from that time onwards, the buy volumes have been dominating here, the sell volume. So you can see the overall buying has been there in the whole market, not only on the Nifty. There has been buying interest in the overall market as well. So it is a good sign that the bottom is capped again, and we would like to see more sideways. And if you look at the NSE 500 itself, it took support. It of course dipped below the 200 DMA, but there was a previous good support zone here between 14,516 and 14,730 here. So overall, you can see the NSE 500 has been moving more of sideways here, though here it is it has been making a lower high structures here, but this is a good support zone here, and we have been seeing good support coming here in the overall market, and it is just at the 200 DMA. So we can expect more sideways move here. If you want to see more side downward move, this should break the 14516 levels. Then only we'd be seeing downside. But as of now, looking at the support coming in here for the Nifty and the overall market, we expected the NSE 500 to move sideways. So that means the overall market to move sideways from here. A quick look into the mid cap and small cap indices before we move to the sectoral analysis. I have the chart of the mid cap index here. As you can see, the index has been moving sideways for almost 6 months in a wide range of about 2000 odd points. And we have a very good support zone here, which is supported multiple times here. And this time too, it is more of a confluence of 200 DMA and the support zone, giving the support here. And you can see a lot of buying coming here, as indicated by the long tails in these bars here. Because the volume has not been very high like the uh, volumes of the Nifty, but there has been spikes of volume giving good support for the buying here. So a lot of buying coming here, and now we have moved above the 200 TMA, and we need to capture the remaining short-term moving averages as well. But we expect that the mid-cap index will move sideways within this range for some more time, maybe a couple of months, before any attempt could be made to break above the 3260 levels, which will indicate an uptrend or a bullish trend. Till that time, we will be moving sideways here. A quick look into the NSE small cap as well. The behavior is similar here. You can see that it has been moving sideways with a good support zone here at 1942, 9242, and this range is about 1000 odd points, and here again good support coming here, and we expect the small caps index as well move sideways. Now it, of course, it is quite weak since it is below the 200 DMA and the 50 DMA as well. Uh, Now, if you look at mid cap 150, the behavior is again similar, moving sideways. Good support here at 200 DMA. So we expect this to move sideways. And before we end this, a quick look at NSE 100 as well. This again sort of replicating the NSE 50. So a lot of volumes coming here, support coming here, stopping volumes you can see here. So clearly support is there at this level, and we are just below the 200 TMA, but the overall movement will be sideways, and the downside is capped at 17,438 levels. So we expect more sideways moves in this as well. Now let us look at the sectoral performances. Just like the stock analysis, before we go into the daily changes or oscillations of the various sectors, it is always better to look at a higher time frame to see what has been doing well, then take a deep dive into the daily fluctuation. So we'll be in a better position to judge better which sectors have the inherent strength and which are likely to move up, and we catch the dips and ride the rise of the sectors. So let's first look at the sector performance on a weekly time frame. This is the performances of the various sectors in the weekly time frame for the last 3 months of the we can say 12 weeks. So as you can see, the banking sector has been doing quite well, and of late, the last 2 weeks, it has been coming down. It is very clear in the graphs as well. You can see it has been slightly going down. It is becoming weak, but it is still in the positive territory. The auto was doing pretty bad, and the last 3 weeks, you can see the improvement. It has gone into the positive territory. So this is a sector which we should start looking at more keenly. The Nifty consumption has been doing very badly, and some improvement is coming, but still a sector to avoid. The Nifty energy sector is the sector totally to avoid. It is going down deeper into the red. The Nifty financial services was doing quite well. In between, little weakness was seen. Now again, it started improving now. The FMCG sector was doing badly, and now of late, the last 6 weeks, we can see it has been improving, turned into the positive territory, and it is continuously improving. So this is one sector we should concentrate. The infra was doing very bad, very good actually, and of late it is gone into the negative territory. Media has been doing quite badly, a sector to avoid, of course. Metals was doing quite good, and of course, weakness seen in the last few weeks, as you can see in the graph that it has been coming down. The MNC uh, sector was again, it was a lagging sector. We can see the improvement in the last 5 weeks. Now it is in the positive territory, but still slowly improving, but big improvement is not seen. Pharma was doing badly, and the last month we can see some improvements. Now it is a leading sector. The PSU banks were the star performance for almost more than 2 months, and of late you can see the weakness. It has been continuously coming down, and it is going into the weak territory now. Reality is another underperformer, so we would avoid that. The Nifty service sector, it was doing well, and now it has gone deep into the red. So we would avoid that as well. The NSE IT was doing well, and then briefly dipped into the negative zone, and then now it is again coming to the positive zone, and you can see it is improving week after week. So this is the on a weekly time frame. So now let's dive deeper into the daily time frame chart. You can see the last 2 week performance of the various sectors. Because the last week we could see the Nifty improving, the auto sectors and the consumption sector weakening, as you can see in the graph here. Energy, of course, we will avoid. Financial services, we saw that it was improving, and you can see that improvement here. Here it is leading. Of course, there was a temporary dip into the negative zone for a couple of sessions, and then again it is improving. FMCG is one of the strongest sectors now. Infra was doing badly, and slight improvement seen last week. This is actually after the budget we could see that improvement because of the budget announcements. The media is temporarily came to the positive zone and back, but overall it has been doing badly on a higher time frame. Metals, we saw that it was weakening. Now it is now gone into the negative territory. As you can see, it is sort of tapering off here now. The MNC sector, of course, is doing good now. In the last 2 weeks, you can see that improvement. Pharma was doing well, but the last week we saw more deterioration. It has gone into the negative territory. PSU banks, we saw some improvement coming, and that weakening was there, and that now we can see some improvement in the last few sessions. Realty also little improvements we could see, and the service sector is gone into red. We would avoid that. IT has been doing quite well, but it sort of peaked off and it is coming down now. So this is how the daily performance is there. So before we shortlist or summarize our findings, let's look at some of the sectors in detail. So let's move to the first sector, which is the banking sector. I have the details of the banking sector here, the bank Nifty here. And we already saw that on a weekly time frame, it was doing quite well. And then we can see the weakness here. And the sector movement chart, you can see here, it was on the positive territory slightly. Now it is into the weakening. It has become weak now. And on a daily time frame, of course, it dipped into the uh, negative zone. Now it is again turning positive here. Of the last three sessions, it is turning positive. But on the weekly time frame, it is still negative here. I mean, it is going weakening actually. It is not negative zone. And also have the details of the volatility and the gain. So it is indirectly you can say the beta and the alpha. And you can see when the gains were good, the volatility was quite less. The lesser the volatility, the more green color, and the more the volatility is, you can see the red color. So as it weakened, you can see the volatility is increased, and also your generally you can see the gains also, or the alpha also reducing here. So you can see here some improvement coming in the banking sector, though it is overall it is weakening, but on a daily time frame you can see some improvement, and that improvement could continue in the coming week. So let's go to the next sector, which is the auto sector. You can see in the weekly time frame it was improving in the last 3 weeks, and in the daily time frames, of course, it was doing well, and then you can see it is coming down here, but it is still in the positive territory. It is coming down here. So it is one sector we should take notice actually. And the volatility is also come down a lot, and in the alpha it is giving better alpha now on a reduced beta here. As you can see, there is a good correlation on the gains and the volatility. Higher the volatility, the lesser the gains. But it is not in general, but most of the times you would find this correlation. Now, the next sector would be the financial service sector, which was doing well, and for 2 weeks it dipped, and then again it has come back. You can see it is weekend, and then it is back into the positive territory. But you can see in the weekly also it became a little weak here actually. Now the next sector we would look into is FMCG. You can see it was doing badly. Can clearly it is seen here, it was doing badly, and now it is in the positive territory. You can see in the positive territory, and also on the daily time frame it is doing well. So it is one of the strongest sector as of now. It is continuing to do well, though little tapering off in the daily times, but it's very much in the positive territory. So this is one sector which should be in our radar. The next is the metal sector. It was doing well. It is weakening. As you can see, it was doing it very well. Then it sort of became weak, and then now it is little weak. On a daily time frame you can see it is lagging, so it could continue to lag. The next week also we could find it lagging, and because the volatility is also quite high and the returns are becoming negative here, so this may be one sector to avoid, or it could see weakness in the coming sessions. The next is MNCs. You can see it is The last 1 month it was leading, as you can clearly see. It is coming into the positive territory. On a daily time frame also it is been strong. So this is one sector we should maybe look into it. In generally the sector you can see that the gains are not very much. Low gains and low volatility kind of sector. In the pharma, of course, it was leading for the last 2 weeks, and on a daily time frame also, off late, like the last week it was doing badly, but the previous week it did well. So on the weekly it is still positive. You can see here. Now it is come into the positive territory here. Let's see how next week it will perform. But we could see some continuation of this weakness in this pharma sector in the coming week. Next is PSU banks. It was weakening. As you can see, it was doing quite well, slowly tapered off, and now it is into the weakened. We can see the weakness here. It's clearly identified here as well. And some little improvement, you could see the last two sessions here. The weakness has generally come down, but the volatility remains quite high, of course, and the gains as well are quite high here in the PSU banks. Now, the next one is the IT sector. You can see it was doing well, then it dipped and then came back. As you can see, it was doing quite well, but sort of went into the negative territory and then coming back here. And in the daily time frame is also is doing well. It is continuously it is doing well. So we can expect it to continue in the coming week as well. And you can see the gains are increasing and the volatility is also decreasing here. And all this is reflected in the daily and weekly time charts as well. So this is one more sector which we should keenly look at in the coming week. So FMCG and IT are the strongest sectors now. So if you want to summarize what is happening, like the strong outperformers are the FMCG, MNC, IT. The underperformance are the energy, infra, and media. And the weakening outperformers are the bank, auto, consumption, and the PSU bank. The underperformance which are improving is the service. So in the near term, if you want to see, you can see improvements in the bank, PSU bank, realty, and services. But you can also see weakness in the auto and consumption, pharma, and infra. And this is the near term is the next week and maybe the coming week as well. All depends on the next week. But the next week, this is what we can expect here. I will post this chart in the community section as well so that you don't have to come back into the video to refer this. So this is the in short summary of the performances of the various sectors. Thank you for watching this video. Unfortunately, this has gone a little lengthy. Maybe the next time I would split the video into two parts. One is the market review and the other is the sectoral performances, where we may even look at some of the strong sectors and the strong stocks in that sector as well. So kindly post your suggestions in the community section. In order to get notified for the release of future review videos, do subscribe to this channel. And in case you find this video useful, please do press the like button. Thank you.